I'm Joel Makower here in GreenBiz Studio with Martin Fink, the Chief Technology Officer for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Martin, we talked earlier on stage about how data is already using 10% of the world's energy to process and move it around, and that data is going to grow 10x. So, and you think that you can find ways to reduce that energy use so there's no net energy growth as the data grows. Really?
That's, I know sometimes that's a little bit hard to believe, but I think if we try to do that using current conventional technologies, not an achievable goal. So when I say that, it does imply that we are making technology changes, and at the core is something we call non-volatile memory, which uses no energy unless it's being accessed. And that's a very key paradigm shift. The second thing is, we don't just look at that part of it, we look at the entire stack. And how do we drive the workloads from top to bottom?
So the stack is all the technologies that are involved with not just the server, the processor and the storage, but everything that
correct.
There, yeah.
So we look at how do we store the data, how do we move the data around, because just moving data uses a lot of energy, and how can we reduce that? And then you're looking at the applications or workloads. What do people want to do? What do they want to process? And if we understand that, and we can reduce the data movement, and we can reduce the amount of time we're accessing data, and when we're not accessing data, we're not using any energy, then we get into these sort of really transformative types of comments that say, hey, we can dramatically increase the amount of data we can process, but keep the energy envelope similar to what it is today.
So where are we in this evolution? Is this something that you sort of know how to do already, and it's just a matter of working out the kinks, or is this moonshot that we just sort of trying to start all over and figure it out anew?
So we are quite far along in understanding the core technologies, but if I had to give a timing, I tend to think in 5 to 10 year terms, because it's not just, hey, let's take this one bit of technology, plug it in, and all is good. It's taking a number of different bits of technology, really doing the integration work, putting that in the context of what are the applications we want to run? What do we want to do with all this data? And thinking through that whole process. And that takes quite a bit of time. Yeah. So I think, us and the industry, we're working to create these new technology foundations, and our job is to bring all those together to change the paradigm of energy.
I imagine some of this has to do with the right technology in the right place at the right time, as opposed to taking a RAM in the case of PCs and just deploying little bits of that the same kind of technology in different places. Now you got to use different kinds of technologies in different places and make sure they're all working together.
That's correct. And so the integration work of all these new technologies is a core effort of what we're doing. I think the other thing which we talked a little bit about on stage was this notion of how do we move less information and use less energy by doing more of the computing at the edges.
The plug level, the light level, the switch level.
The cars, the engines, et cetera, right? So how do we do as much of the computing as possible at the edge? And the way I describe it is I say, rather than move a whole bunch of data to a center point, how do we bring intelligence together from all of the edge devices that are being created out there and what we typically call the Internet of Things or the industrial Internet of Things?
Well, it's going to be a lot of great intelligence going on in your shop, and I look forward to seeing you make this happen. Kind of have to. So thank you very much, Martin.
All right, thank you very much, Joel. Appreciate it.